All right, what is up? Welcome to Spoiler Kings. My name is Tink Kramer. I'm with Brandman Brandon down there, Brian the Grizzly, and we all finally watch The Hunger Games, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, the longest freaking movie title ever.
Yeah.
It makes sense though. At the end,
Yeah.
at
What
the
you're
end
trying
of the
to
movie,
figure out, who you're trying to figure out, what's what. Yeah, it
Yeah.
makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Rachel Zegler is one of our main characters with Lucy Gray. Tom Blyth is
Blythe,
Snow. Yeah, Blythe is Snow. Peter Dinklage is Highbottom, and Viola Davis is Dr. Gao. Gao, I think how you pronounce that?
Bulimia, whatever's her name.
Bulimia, yeah.
Mm.
So those are pretty much your main characters. Those are really the only ones we're gonna probably be talking about, and everyone else is like whatever. Cool. What you got?
The whole time I was watching the movie, or not the whole time, but the last 35 minutes. Hi, my name is what? My name is who? My name is Snow Shady.
Oh my god.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Oh my god.
Yeah, the blonde hair, it's all cut. All right. Hey, thank you for the subscription, Jasmine. So before we get into our likes and dislikes, Brian, you want to do a quick rundown of what this movie's about?
Sure. Years before he becomes a tyrannical president of Panem, 18-year-old Quirinius Snow remains the last hope for his fading lineage. With the 10th annual Hunger Games fast approaching, the young Snow becomes alarmed when he is assigned to mentor Lucy Gray. Lucy Gray Bayard from the District 12, uniting their instincts. Bayard, yeah. Their instincts from showmanship and political savvy. Their race against time to ultimately reveal who is a songbird and who's a snake. That's kind of why we have this long ass title. So
yeah, super long title. So what you guys think about the movie? We'll start off with the likes. Brandman, what you think?
I was never really that huge into the Hunger Games. But that said, I think this is probably my second favorite one behind Catching Fire.
Mm-hmm.
Thought it was really well acted, especially on the end of Tom Blythe, who I'd never really seen a whole lot of before. Thought Rachel Zegler did a good job. Viola Davis is great in everything she does. So I thought she was really entertaining to watch whenever she was on screen. I liked where they went with it. With having not read the book, I've read the first two books. Yeah, I read the first Hunger Games and I read Catching Fire. After that, I just kind of gave up. But yeah, I kind of liked a little more backstory on Panem and how Snow kind of got to where he was. I thought he always kind of came off a little more one dimensional in the previous books and the movies. So it was nice to know more about him and just kind of seeing more of the Hunger Games themselves and how they kind of became what they became in what they grew into in the current time. So I'd say those were my things I liked about it.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you. I mean, a lot of the action was really good, especially the first two acts were really well done. I felt like it was good tempo. Story was keeping up with stuff. Viola Davis as like the antithesis of these people, like being that villain role almost was really cool. I enjoyed that. But I've always had a feeling that the Snow was going to show his true self that entire time. Like you knew what was coming up, so you're trying to figure out what's going on, who's really playing who, but you always knew in the back of your mind. So that's why I think that the third act for me was a little bit of a downer, but overall I just enjoyed the movie.
Yeah. I mean, same thing. Those first two acts, I was really surprised how much I was liking it, and really getting invested into Snow's character and even what's her name, Lucy Gray. It was because she started singing, I'm like, oh my god, really? And I thought the singing was well done. Because I'm like, oh really? They're gonna sing in this movie? They're gonna sing in the Hunger Games, and it makes, they made it make sense and stuff like that. I love like some of the backstory of it all. Like I'm not a big Hunger Games fan. I watch the movies. I'm like, whatever, like, but I thought this was definitely a good addition to it. That first act was really good. It really showed off Rachel Zegler and Tom Blyth's like their skills, especially together. They were really good together.
Really well
yeah. And him being a fairly newish, to the scene, like this is like one of his first big things he's ever done. He knocked it out of the park. Even Rachel Zegler, I thought was like really good as this what do they call it? The tribute, kind of thing.
Yeah, I thought she did a good job.
Yeah. But that we'll get into that with the bad. But the actual Hunger Game part was really good. Was really, really good. I didn't think they'll do anything better than the first one, and I still don't think it's as. I don't think it's better, but it was better than I expected. It was a lot better than I expected, because I was expecting, like, this is gonna be kind of stupid. I really don't know how they're gonna do this, because it's like early in the Hunger Games kind of world. So I was like, where by the time we see it in Lawrence, Jennifer Lawrence's one, it's like a whole force and they got shit changing and doing all this crazy stuff. But for what we got was pretty interesting. I was like, okay.
I remember being somewhat annoyed during the Hunger Games with the character of Lucy Gray. I remember thinking to myself, girl, if you don't pick up a rock or something like that.
Yeah.
I didn't care about the characters as much. That's how I felt. I felt during the Hunger Games when we saw this. I just didn't see or care about the characters as much as before. But I guess you had a full buy-in in multiple movies to really get you into that. But this one, I didn't care about them as much, but I thought they still did well. The action was good. The acting was really well done. It's obviously they care about the story, but it reminded me of Harry Potter's great, right? And then the prequels to it, not as good, right? It felt that way, It still felt, especially when I got to that third act, I was like, all right, you just took a nosedive. You went from like an A- to like I'm So, and when you put it all together, that's kind of how you feel.
Yeah. But like I said, I wasn't as invested I was into the first set of characters, but I was invested a lot more than I expected. Because I expected not to care about these people. I'm like, why do I care? I know what happens with Snow. Like, Lucy Gray is a one-off. Like, I don't care. But it did kind of pull me in enough where I was like, oh, okay, I'm interested. But I'm not like, oh, I gotta go see the next one. Or how's it finish? But cool. So let's talk about some of the negatives. Brandman, what didn't you like about the movie?
Having not been, I might be showing my ignorance here because I didn't read the book, so I'm not terribly familiar. I don't know if the character of Lucy Gray sang that much in the book.
I have no idea,
but it got a little tedious after a while, and became. I very well may be wrong, because, like I said, I did not read the book, so for all I know, maybe this happened in the book. But I was like, no, it's just like a showcase reel for Rachel Zegler singing, But so that was one thing, and I think there were parts where it kind of started to kind of drag, particularly in the third act. I think it kind of lost a little bit of focus.
Oh my god, exactly.
Yeah, I'd say that was my big thing with it. And like I said, I'm just not invested enough in the Hunger Games as a whole to really.
Thanks for coming in, QT1.
Thanks for joining.
Thank
you. To really be invested one way or another or the other. So yeah, I'd say those are my things. So like it started to kind of lose me, and I kind of started to look at my watch maybe the last 35-40 minutes of the movie.
Yep.
It kind of lost it started to kind of stray off course. and didn't know what, almost felt like it didn't know what it wanted to be. Like if it wanted to be a romance, or if it wanted to like just kind of rush through things and have Snow kind of start to become the Snow that we know him as.
Mm-hmm.
But I'd say those were my main things.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. For me, it's pretty simple. There's two different movies. The first two acts was one movie, and the third act was something totally different. They decided, okay, we're gonna, give Snow all the good parts of him and let all this other stuff. And then the third act, they just said, we're gonna go towards the presidency. We're gonna put him towards what he was doing, how he got here. And it totally changed. And it's like the director lost control of the movie, and it's like being on a roller coaster, right? And it's going up and down, and it's going around, and it's fine. And then all of a sudden, it falls off the track, and the totally lose control. And they're like, "Oh," but then the movie ends, and you're like, "Oh, it was good, wasn't it?" And you're like, "No, it was out of control. You totally lost focus. None of this stuff made sense in the third act. What the hell were you doing?" That's kind of how I felt about this whole movie. Like, what the hell were you thinking? Like, you knew you had to get from point A to point C, and you're going on a road from point to point B, and then all of a sudden it just went to shit. What's up, T?
Yeah.
So I did not understand it. I didn't understand the love affair with Lucy Gray and Snow, and then how they just shifted gears immediately. What the hell? So, that was it.
Yeah. I agree. I mean, I don't want to add or repeat what you said, but it felt like a different movie. It should have been a trilogy, I think. You could have did the first act, like the actual getting together, and the Hunger Game part could have been the first one.
Movie.
The second one could have been him doing the military ship, and the third one could have been him actually becoming political and getting political power. And then it ends with that, where like you can fill in the blank where he starts off as this low whatever political person and he becomes like the president. Because I that would have made more sense, because like you said, it goes from you're invested enough into like their love relationship, and then it just turns into something else, and there's such a major change between Snow's character, and I was just like what you went from caring and loving and wanting to protect her to like blindly protecting her at all costs and nothing else matters. But even then that changes in the third act. You go from that to like, oh, I need to go back to the capital. I was like, what?
Why?
It was just like, why? Like you found somebody you loved and you didn't give me a good reason why you're betraying your best friend. You're doing all this messed up shit. So yeah, that third act was another movie, like you said. That was my biggest. That was really my only problem, and not that I hated the third act. It just felt out of place. Like it should have been its own movie. If they would have done its own movie, I think that would have been better, and then you could have slowly made sense on why he started doing the shit he was doing.
It would have been like taking those first 3 Hunger Games and trying to make it all in one movie.
Yeah, exactly what it was doing. And it was too much. But cool. So anything we missed out before we get into our ratings, guys? Any one last things you guys want to say?
I mean, the writers did a bad job for Act 3. It's almost like they had two set of writers to say, okay, you're going to do these two, and you're going to do this one, and they never found a way to merge them. They just said, we're just going to go right into it.
Yeah. He gets shipped out, and then boom, that's it. Next movie. Like we're doing something else. One thing I know we didn't really talk about, Viola Davis. Holy crap. She was amazing in this one. Like absolutely amazing. You felt her evil, like she felt like an evil doctor, kind of like the the evil professor kind of person, like the mad scientist. She pulled it off amazingly, and it was awesome. It was super awesome.
But no, I feel like you understood why James Gunn said everyone else is gone, but you're still Waller.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I saw.
Yeah.
Like, everyone else, I don't care what you guys do. You guys get away. Henry Cavill, whatever. Viola, you stay.
Yeah. So I think, did she win the EGOT, or she's still missing something from the EGOT?
I think she's still missing something.
I got probably the Grammy, right? No, I think she won the Grammy. I don't know. I got to double check that one. But Cool. Yeah. Because let's just jump into our
No, she
ratings.
has an EGOT. Yeah,
She does have
18th.
the EGOT.
She has the EGOT.
Nice. Yeah. Well deserved. That woman is. She goes from Waller to Woman King to like this, and I was like, how are you the same person? How are you just this talented? It's insane. Like she's so great. But all right, let's get into our ratings. So over here at Spoiler Kings, we do things nice and easy. We do now, later, never. Now means you got to go watch it right now before it's too late. Later means you can wait till it's streaming, and never means you can just skip it altogether. Brandman, what are you giving Hunger Games?
I'll give it a later. I thought it was fine. You know, there were definitely elements of it I liked.
Yeah.
I'm just not terribly huge into Hunger Games, so it's not anything that I really rush out to see. This movie, if I'm being honest, really didn't need to exist.
Yeah.
It was fine. But yeah. But yeah, I'll give it a later. You know, you can you can wait to see for President Snow's Eminem phase. Wait until it's on Max or something. It was fine.
Yeah.
It was fine. Nothing I'd rush to watch again.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Cool. What you got, Brian?
Oh, it's definitely a later. I mean, we just talked about two different movies. The first two acts, I would probably give it a now. The last act, I would give it a never. That tells me it's it's a later. It's right in the middle. It's where we meet, and that's what it is. I mean, it has some really good acting parts to it, and I think literally it's the writers that did a bad job and the director that did a bad job, because I think all the actors did exactly what they were supposed to do, and they made the best of the situation. They didn't come to win. So it is what it is. It's a later. I like Hunger Games a lot, but this just wasn't. It's for a person who likes Harry Potter. It's Fantastic Beast. It's that thing. Like, it has good parts, but you can't put it all together, because without the main people that you really care about, it's hard to care about the entire movie. So it's a later.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a later for me too. Like you said perfectly, Brian. Like, if the first two acts, I was at it now. I'm like, by the end of the actual Hunger Game event, I'm like, oh, this is a great movie. And then they just didn't stick the landing. Like I said, like it just felt like a different movie. It wasn't a bad story that they were telling. It just felt out of place. And if they would have stuck the landing, this could have been the next trilogy. The next big trilogy. But they didn't stick the landing. They were trying to rush it through and get Snow to where he needed to go, and they didn't take their time, which really sucks. So it could have been a trilogy, and now I don't see how it can be a trilogy. Like, it's definitely a solo movie. Like, yeah. So, but yeah, later. I think a lot of people will have fun with it at home. I think it'd be cool. But and then one last thing before we end it is Rotten Tomatoes. So the critics gave it a 64%. That's only 225 reviews from the critics, 64%. So they didn't quite like it, but the audience, 1,000 verified ratings at an 89%. So I feel like the Hunger Game fans came out and supported it. So I'm okay. I'm probably a little bit more in the middle than that.
I would give it like a 72.
Yeah, right around there. I think that's it for our thoughts and reviews of the Hunger Games. What was it called? Hunger Games: The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. But we want to hear from you guys. Leave a comment down below. What do you rank it? A now, later, never. You can kind of grade it however you guys want to grade it, but we want to hear your thoughts. Did you like it? Did you hate it? You're somewhere in between. Let us know. And make sure you hit that subscribe button and hit that like button. Lets YouTube know we're doing some good stuff over here. You can come and join us every Monday and Thursday where we're live talking movies, TV, streaming, Hollywood news, a bunch of fun, nerdy stuff. So make sure you come and check us out live and be part of the show. But we appreciate everyone on the replay gang checking us out, and everyone live. Stick around because we are going to talk about our next topic for the night.